Well, it's telling me I'm live. Let's see what the lag is. 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. It's usually between 15. There we go. 15 seconds.
10, 11, 12.
Good evening, everybody. Well, all 6 of you so far. How are we? Although YouTube's telling me, oh, now it's telling me there's 6. Thank you, YouTube. Apparently, Gary, if you're there was a comment from you that Heather saw. It hasn't come up on my YouTube, mate, so I don't know quite what's going on there.
It's disappeared now. I've refreshed.
It's disappeared. He might have removed it himself. Well, good evening. Welcome back after a couple of weeks off. What a shit show to come back. Ah, there he is. Evening, Gary. Evening, Holly. Stitch. Yeah, well, in one way, I'm glad that we were away through the elections. Moo, good evening. Other ways, I wish we'd have stayed and covered it, but hey, my holiday was coming first. There was no real winner, Gary. I did catch more fish, but I can't claim it as a victory. Because on the final day, I went for a few hours on my own down the beach, and I had the best 2 catches of the week. I had a half decent ray and a nice sole, a Dover sole, that was still alive and kicking before I took it out the sink to carve it up, shall we say? And it tasted absolutely fucking beautiful.
Good job, I can cook.
Good evening, Karen. That was a bit of a strange catch. We have seen them caught there, but I've never caught one before. What was you doing? Fishing, mate. Fishing. Hello, what was that alert for? Just got another alert. Lakutas putting my live stream on Discord. Thank you very much. But no, we had a nice week. We did both catch fish. The weather wasn't that kind to us, shall we say. Very, very windy. We only had 2 days where the wind dropped. Good evening, Karen. Jason, good evening, mate. But yeah, we only had a couple of days where the wind dropped, and once the evening come along, it picked back up, and a couple of days we had a lot of rain, but not lost at sea, me, Gary. I'm too well gelled up on the sea for that to happen. But I'm saying that it could happen to anybody. You know, the biggest killer at sea is the sea itself. I've always said that. But yeah, I did catch up with a bit over the elections and that. And obviously, since I've been back, I did have a bit of a day off yesterday, a bit of a rest. It was needed. But yeah, now, it seems there may have been, and people are saying that there could possibly be some election fraud going on. That wouldn't surprise me in the least. I do believe that Labour only got in because of the Muslim vote, simply because, as I said in the video, Starmer's took the knee to just about every minority group going, including the Muslims. Unfortunately, what it means for us, as the thumbnail for tonight's live blatantly pointed out, is we're screwed, as far as I'm concerned. He will want us to go back into Europe. he has openly shown his support for the WEF, which means we will be getting involved in what happens in the country. He's also even already going into the pay-per-mile road systems. Jason Blair, he just needs to go away. Personally, I think he's pulling the strings. If Starmer listens to him, it's going to happen even quicker. Yep, a lot of benefits will change, even for those of us that are permanently sick and ill. Literally, he's going to destroy the country. And as I've said in my predictions months ago, well, as soon as they announced it, he will destroy the country quicker than Roland ever would. As I said, it was going to be either a slow death by Tory or it was going to be a quick death by Labour. And the fact that some of his own MPs now are actually questioning him about what he wants to do and what he's trying to do says it all, doesn't it, really? They know what the people want. They listen to what the people want. And as for having the ginger whinger sat next to him, that's that is just ridiculous. You know, personally, I think he's going to be a bigger calamity than old Chucky Doll was. Liz Truss. I think they'll fuck up within the first couple of months. I really do. But we can only wait and see, but it's not going to get any easier for us. And the fact that there was only, well, not even 60% turnout for the vote. What does that tell you? A lot of people didn't vote because they didn't think it would make a lot of difference. Well, now you've seen what you've done by not voting. Mick, good evening, matey. Yeah, that's all right, buddy. I think it was your mate, Toughless. Is it Trevor? I met him there. He realised it was me as soon as he saw a car with the tube on the top. But, yeah, it wasn't bad at all, mate. Wasn't bad at all. Actually did the catch and cook. Had a nice sole there of, nearly 400 mil. It was 400 mil? Yeah, 400 mil. Good size, almost double eating size, and we had it that night. It was still kicking when I got it in the flat, in the cottage. But, yeah, bit rough, but not bad, mate. Not bad, thank you very much. Yeah, we will meet up there, won't you? Jeff, that's it. Yeah, that's it, yeah. He was sat there watching us, and he recognised me, actually. First time ever I've been recognised in public as a YouTuber.
And boy, did he gloat.
Oh, yeah, YouTube famous me. But no, very, very good weekend, and the best fish actually came off the beach rather than the prom, just to the left of Dubmill Point, the bottom of the road where we stay. And that was on a backing tide as well. So I'm learning more and more of the area each time. But yeah, it was nice to meet up with somebody like that. You're both YouTube famous. Thank you, Gary. Yeah, it is, Mick. We love it up there. Things are going to change a bit. The lady that owns the cottage is having a lot of work done. One is it's being converted to a 4-bedroom. Well, we ain't going to pay for a bloody 4-bedroom, I can tell you that much. But we'll see how we go. But hopefully we'll be back there next year. Hello, what's going on here?
Could always have a pod.
Oh, yeah, right. It wouldn't even have enough room in there to get the bloody tackle in there, would I? I mean, it's still in the living room now behind me there. I haven't put it back out in the shed yet. Missy Moon, good evening. Yeah, that's right, Ollie. No worries, no worries. But Yeah, going back to the complete hatchet job that's happening with the government. The mainstream media absolutely did a right hatchet job on Farage, didn't they? Even installing fake uh, candidates so they could slate him afterwards. I mean, this is how bad British politics has got, and it does need a complete overhaul. As Farage says, it needs to be reformed. It's absolutely ridiculous. But there was one comedy, well, I say comedy act um, over the holiday. The first weekend, well, I knew Ragnarok was on. It's like a fucking fly, a biker music festival, rock festival for the weekend. Now, when we realised that there was barriers being put up all over the green, we assumed it might have been something connected to that. But it wasn't. They had a Pride Day the same day as a bikers rally. And I'm like, what the fuck? But didn't hear of any trouble. We were supposed to go to the Ragnarok to meet up with the president of my old bike club, but he wasn't very well. He couldn't turn up that first weekend. But he did turn up the second weekend, stayed over, had a good old catch up and a bit of a giggle. Nice to see you again, Crazy. If you're watching, mate.
And thank you for the compliment on the cooking.
Yeah, compliments on the cooking. But yeah, the sole was nice. All filleted off properly and skinned, and then Heather cooked it. Yeah, Jason, that goes back to the film I tried to find. Well, it was the local video shop down in Cornwall when they were videos and not discs. I asked them if they could find a particular video for me, and they asked what it was. And I said, gay nymphoid bikers on acid with Bambi. After 6 weeks, they realised that I was taking the piss. But someone did say there is a video out there by that name, but I've never seen it. But yeah, it didn't go down too well when I said them. Told them it's a joke video. But and there was another music festival on the weekend just gone as well. But I don't know quite what that one was all about.
Oh, what was it called?
Firebird Festival, wasn't it? Firebird Music Festival.
Something like that.
Something like that. Well, I have. Where are we? Let's see if I can find this. Where would I put it? In there. No. Boom, boom, boom. So you know what I'm like, guys. I make these videos and I do things and I put them all over the place and I can never remember where I've put them. Did I put it in there? Nope. Well, it must be fucking somewhere. I actually edited a short video. And would you believe I can't find it?
Yes, I believe that.
Oh, there we go. Right, let's... Right, now this video, it's it's a bit jittery and jumpy because the camera I used is actually a very cheap, nasty little sports camera, and for some reason the footage got all corrupted. But we'll have a go anyway. It's only a couple of minutes long. Well, it says 6:50 there, but I can skip through it. This was you can hear the wind there. This was bringing in the supper, the last day's supper.
You just didn't want me to buy me fish and chips, did you?
Well, I did promise you fish and chips, didn't I, on the last night?
Yeah, but we haven't got any chips.
No, so it had to be had with mashed and peas. And that was, it was a good one as well. Mick will tell you that, that for a sole from there, that is a good fish. But then, let's get that out of the bloody way. And this one was the best one of the weekend. Yeah, they've had some flooding as well in Maryport as well, mate. That is red snapper course at police. It was a yeah, to be honest, Mick, I've only ever seen one caught there, and I was quite surprised I caught one in daylight. Actually, normally they're a nocturnal catch, as you know, and that was me little Thorny. Not that big, but that's the best one we had over the week, and it's the best one that I've ever had off the beach here. It's not the best one I've had, but there we go. That was the two main catches, breast. We did have ray off the prom. Doggy, obviously. I had a small place. What was it? Dab as well, wasn't it?
What that I had?
You had, yeah.
I was going to say, you're talking what you had and you had and you had. I had a dab and a ray. You had a place and a ray.
Yeah.
And a dogfish on the line that wasn't in the competition.
Yeah.
And then all of those on. When your bad luck charm was sat at the cottage.
Yeah, I have caught them before, Mick, but never up there. And I certainly wasn't targeting them, that's for sure. As I say, there was a guy there last year. He had one about the same size off the prom, along with a nice 4.5 pound bass, actually.
It was the first for me, Mick, to try a sole, because it's so, living in Birmingham, it's not high on the menu list, and if it is, it's high on the cost list as well.
Well, so, you don't get any fresh fish up here. That's the problem.
Well, they don't go by the window, do they? Let's face it.
Hi, Graham. How you doing, mate? But yeah, this is actually the first time I've eaten sole as well. It was an experience, shall we say. And it's not one I've prepared in the past, so I did have to look up. I knew you had to take the skin off, and there was an easy way of doing it, so I did have to look that up. Red snapper course at the police trying to go beyond. What have you been drinking, Gary? Yeah, there is one in Maryport. Mick, but we're here in the Midlands. You're very lucky to get any fresh fish here.
And if I'm doing a day trip to Maryport, then I need to know what time the boat's there.
Yeah,
4 hours each way. It's a bit of a bugger if I miss him.
I used to get fresh prawns in Silloth from Ray's Shrimps or whatever it is.
The caravan shop.
But it's a caravan sales place now. He's packed up. Still seeing his boat out there, but I think he's just selling to the shops now, selling to retail. But she used to go in and get a brown shrimp off him.
Oh, pointing the shell.
There's a police officer on YouTube trying to goby out of the court. What are you on about, Gary? That makes no sense whatsoever. Get what? You're not making any sense, mate.
His phone keeps putting goby out, and I can't think what goby out would mean.
Goby out? What?
Both of his comments
Yeah.
say police trying to goby out. YouTube trying to goby out the course. Oh, give out.
It's his phone.
Yeah, it's autocorrect.
I was going to say, red snapper is a fish. Give out the course. Never heard of the course, mate. Never heard of it.
I'll have a Google.
The missus will Google it. But it was interesting. I mean, it's sad to hear about the murders today that are all over the news everywhere. But there was a few things I picked up on what people are saying over this. All right, Mick, take it easy, buddy. Look after yourself. Say hi to Jeff for us. It was nice to meet him.
Maybe next time, Mick.
Yeah, maybe next time, mate. We'll give you a shout, give you plenty of advance warning when we're coming. Big respect to you and Jeff, and keep it up there, mate. Going back to this triple murder. Now, obviously, it's from what they're saying, it sounds like a relationship gone tits up. I got my hooks out. I'll catch you. But it's something that the ex-police or ex-police crime commissioner was saying on an interview that I picked up on. Now, they keep going on about the fucking crossbow. Now, as you know, I've many a times gone into the law around crossbows. Now, you consider how many people have been murdered in, say, the last few months with knives. How many people have been murdered with guns?
That are bad.
Now, Now, this idiot was saying that a crossbow is easier to conceal than a gun. He said it will fit in a holdall. Well, a gun is far easier to conceal than a crossbow. You don't have to take it apart to put it in a bag. Most guns that are used in crime in this country are handguns, which are even easier to conceal. Knives, we've seen the videos. We've seen what happens. We've seen the attacks. They're concealed everywhere. Now, you consider the numbers of murders and attacks that have been done with those two types of weapon. Now, actually, the attacks by crossbow, since last year, the middle of last year, or even earlier, there's been four. But all of a sudden, it's headline news. There is even the possibility that the guy had a crossbow. And then they said, oh, he may have other weapons as well. Well, a crossbow is a single fire weapon. Now, if he had killed 3 people with a crossbow, or even injured them with a crossbow, that would have taken him some time to fire, reload, shoot, reload, and shoot again. There was more than enough time for one of them women to escape. So I believe they're just using that bullshit of the crossbow to try and force a ban or licensing on it. Now, as I said before, the only people that will ever pay a license fee for anything like that are responsible owners. Criminals and people that use them for the wrong reason will not buy a license, and it will not stop criminals using them or getting hold of them. So literally, that is just mainstream media bullshit that the police are feeding them, and they're repeating it over and over and over again. But you know, these idiots that keep coming out with this really need to just shut the fuck up, because they haven't got a clue what they're talking about. Good evening, Lodge. Now, they went on about, oh, there's penalties, you know, you need a good reason to have them in public. Yeah, like banning dogs, Gary. Exactly, mate. Now, as the law stands, I'll tell everybody again, for those that didn't hear it the last time, if you are not going to an archery range or going to a shop to either purchase or sell a crossbow, then there is no viable reason, and this is in law, you can look it up, to have it in public. Not just the whole crossbow, even part of it. If you had the bow or the mechanism or anything like that from a crossbow in public without one of those 2 reasons, that can entitle you to £1,000 fine. Just for having part of it on your person, in your car, on your bike, in your rucksack, wherever. Leon, that is the only way it could have happened with a crossbow. And very, very rarely is a single injury from a crossbow fatal unless it's in the head. If in doubt, just ban things. Yeah, well, they banned handguns, didn't they? Except for exceptional circumstances. People still got them, still getting hold of them. Same with any weapon. The zombie weapons that are being used by the youngsters, they're banned. You're not allowed to make them. You're not allowed to sell them. You're not allowed to import them. But they're still getting hold of them. Yeah. Yeah, Lodger, there's a lot of it going on. A lot of them as well were the ones that infiltrated the Reform Party. All right, Graham, take it easy, mate. Cheers for dropping in, buddy. But yeah, just banning things is never going to do away with them. Blitzer, you don't know. They're not releasing any information at the moment, other than that they were known to him. He was in a relationship with the youngest daughter, and that went wrong, and he's an ex-serving soldier. That is the latest update there's been on it. Yeah, Lodger, and look at what they did to some of the farmers over the shotguns. Now, you know, a shotgun is part of the tools for farming, basically. Yet the police were going around trying to persuade doctors to sign certificates and paperwork saying these farmers weren't mentally capable of having a gun, shouldn't have one. just because they wanted them to be done away with. Yet the idiot down in Plymouth, even though he was proved to be mental unstable because he had a license, they gave him his back. And that prick went on to shoot 5 people. You know, there's no balance in the law. That's the trouble. Oh, thank you, YouTube, for telling me I'm live.
I got an alert.
Half an hour late. What's this in Busy? It's just outside Karen, Hertfordshire. Well, yeah, I suppose it is on the borders.
Near Watford, wasn't it?
Yeah. The Met Police are involved. They've said he's ex-military, but he was that dim that he wouldn't have the knowledge to escape and evade and stay on the loose for long. Well, he's been on the loose now for what was it? Well, 24 hours, because it was reported at 7 o'clock last night.
That's not difficult, though.
If you're talking about the one that shot the burglars, Blitzer. Yeah. You sort of know that area. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the area. They did give it. I haven't been looking at a lot of things. As I say, I'm still trying to sort stuff out after the holiday. I ain't even put my fishing tackle away yet. I've got to go through it and clean it. All independent. They should be. Well, if they're proved to be a member of a terrorist group, which are a banned group, then they shouldn't be allowed in Parliament anyway, Lodger. Because they're a little bushy. That's it. Thank you, Mrs. W. Any illegal groups, they've said anybody with a police record, that's what shouldn't be allowed in Parliament. Absolutely. They shouldn't even be allowed to stand. But I dare say we will hear more tomorrow over it. But there again, we had a shooting the other day just up the road here in Walsall. Both me and Mrs. W used to work over there. They have arrested 3 people for that. I believe they were young lads. I haven't heard a lot about it. But that one, yeah, it made mainstream media, but it was only a small bit. Yet this one, because it's a TV commentator's family, it's all over the bloody place. Yeah, they are terrorist, Blitzer. Absolutely. Anybody that makes people in fear for their life or their safety, that is classed as terrorism. That is the very definition of terrorism itself. You don't need to blow people up or shoot people to be a terrorist. If you look up the definition of it, it's what it is. Causing people to be within fear of their life. Yep. Lodger is letting thousands go. And this is the problem. He said he's going to reform the police. They're going to take a load more police on, but they're letting criminals back out on the street. And to me, they're some of the worst type of criminals. The grooming gangs. Yeah, well, we all know that, Blitzer. We all know that. You know, when we knew this was going to happen. We knew Labour was going to get in, and we knew this was going to happen. We know he's going to take us back into Europe. We know he's going to follow the rules and let the WEF in. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if he lets the WHO in as well and signs that silly fucking treaty of theirs. We know Dictator Khan in London is one of his little pets. And of course, he's the chairman of the C40 cities group that are in the WEF. So it's fucking obvious that was going to happen. And they're already discussing it. Pay as you go on the roads. Now Khan wants to have all people, even electric vehicles, to pay the congestion charge in London. So he's going back on what the thing was actually got through on the promise of. Yeah, we are, Karen. The country is fucked now. With these clowns, these lefty clowns in charge, we're fucked. Absolutely.
We're doomed.
We're doomed. Yeah. I said this before I went on holiday, and I said as soon as they called the election, I said Labour will slam it, and then we are well and truly screwed. There's no way the Conservatives were ever going to win. The only way that this country would have even had a chance of surviving is if that 40% voted for reform. Voting for all the others and scattering the votes around other parties was a waste of time, because that would still have given Labour, like it did, the majority. And I still think it was the Muslim vote that won them that election. And that's only because of Starmer's stance on their religion. The borders are going to be open. Yeah, we knew he was going to shut down the Rwanda project. I always said that because it was never going to go anywhere anyway. Lady Anfield, yes, it is very bleak, I'm afraid. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it for any fucker. It's very bleak for us.
I still say, if they hadn't turned round and said a vote for reform is a vote for Starmer, that people may have risked it and gone for it, and things might have been different. But that's all you heard. A vote for reform is a vote for Starmer.
Post system doesn't help. There is that, Missy, but it's so complicated that there are a lot of people that don't understand how the election system works. A lot of people don't understand it. You know, you can win an election without having all the votes. But what people don't realise is the bigger the party, the more the votes. Not because people want that party, because the people of that party will vote for themselves. And as ever, whoever gets the majority of the votes has the legal right to work on behalf of everybody else, even if you didn't vote for them. They work for the majority, which includes those that are not part of that majority. This has always been the problem. And as Farage says, it's the political system and the voting system needs a big, big overhaul. A very big overhaul.
People need to vote.
And the thing is, the idiot's likely to drag us back into war again. He's already said that they're going to carry on back in Ukraine, but there's no money immediately coming for our own defence of this country, which leaves us wide open. And on his first week in power, he's fucked off with a little jolly with NATO, hasn't he? Discussing Russia and the Ukraine. Well, that war ain't never going to end. It's been going a long, long time, and it's never going to end. All it's going to ever do is keep sucking up money. And it's money we haven't got. Same as the open borders that he's going to create. There's no point prosecuting the people smugglers. They've been being prosecuted and shut down for the last 2 years, and it ain't made a bit of difference. Yes, Lady Anfield. Yeah, let's go to a nice warm country. Might have to dig a bit for some water, but the Rwanda was never going to work. I mean, they openly said they only had room for several hundred. Yeah, there's more coming across a day than they can handle. Karen, it's a lot worse over there than it is here at the minute. Believe me. Ireland's in a bigger mess with the immigrants than we are. And the way their government has been acting, they're a lot worse as well than what we've ever had here. But again, we're just left in limbo. We've got to sit and wait, see what happens with it all. You know, it doesn't matter what we say, nothing's going to change. Our opinions won't change them. Yeah, it is Lady Anfield, and I do hear a lot of reports from over there. I've got family over there. We've got an Irish side to the family on my mother's side, and I do keep in touch with them. And yes, it is very, very bad over there. You know, when they're chucking people out of their homes, literally, to house these fuckers. More so than they're doing here. And the same with the doctors. Now, both governments before the election were saying we can't afford to pay the doctors even more. Well, if they stop the immigrants coming, 10 million a day, yeah, that could go a long way to helping out with the doctors and the NHS. How's Pierce and I? They're fine, Gary. I've only seen the video with the dog lately. That one's gone down well. Again, it was the police provoked that. I don't know whether that was one video they were sent. I don't believe that's actually them. But I haven't heard from Paul. Obviously, I've been on holiday, so. Yeah, exactly. The money is there. And it is being spent in the wrong places. You know, everything they seem to be doing at the moment seems to be around stopping people leaving the country with what they're doing with travel, what they're doing with fees, what they're doing with the airlines. That's it, Lodger. I said this 2 years ago. If people don't wake up, it's going to end up badly for us. And it has. You know, they say they're stopping the a lot of the protests in London now. Well, they're not. Far from it. It's just that they're not being showed in the media and what have you as much. But there have been more knife attacks, murders. You know, these are the things that don't get in mainstream media. Well, not all of them anyway. But, you know, how are they going to put this right without putting taxes up? You know, the prices have already started to go up again. Petrol went up again the other day in a lot of places. The cost of living is going to go back up. He's going to try and claw a bit back by basically shutting down the DWP. So those on benefits won't be able to afford to feed themselves. So what are they going to do? They're going to turn to crime. And before long, I think if they carry on the way they want to run this country, we're going to be in anarchy. I can see it happening now.
If I end up in Nick for shoplifting, can I do a GoFundMe and the guys support?
Well, if you end up in Nick for shoplifting, at least you'll get fucking fed twice, 3 times a day, won't you? Be better off than a lot of people.
I still get my Wi-Fi and on my channel and my live.
Nope.
I thought they got everything in there.
No. They do have Wi-Fi, but you're limited what you can do on it. And when you can use it. Crap all countries. We always will. Yeah. I mean, NATO and the UN, you know, really they haven't been needed. Well, NATO especially. Everybody, you look at all the little countries now that are nuclear capable that aren't in NATO. Yet they wanted all this unilateral disarmament. They will arrest you, Gary, if it's over 200 quid's worth, apparently. So I've been told. Yeah, I am, Jason. It's people my age, and especially the ones in conditions like mine, where you just don't know which way your health is going to go. It's very worrying. It's very stressful. You know? It's gone up to 400 now. Well, if you look at some of them, most of them aren't stealing to eat anyway. They're just taking top line designer clothes and shit, aren't they? The only ones that are stealing to eat are the Muslim women that go in there with everything stuffed up their burqas. If you've seen several videos of that now with the amount that they're stealing each time. And they're organised gangs as well. Well, the thing is, Missy, with the rate they're releasing prisoners, I mean, you got, what is it, Thames Water, I think it is now, saying they haven't got the money. They're going broke. They haven't got the money to fix the system, the water system. Well, they had the money, but they gave it all away to their partners and what do they call them? Shareholders and shit. You know, instead of putting the money back in, they paid themselves. And now they're complaining that they're broke and can't afford to fix anything. Well, personally, I reckon they should have the company taken off them with the way they've been running it. And that goes for most of the water companies. Because they have just not invested back in the broken system. You know, they want these, what is it, upwards of 1 million houses a year being built, or whatever it is, 1.5 million in the next 5 years. Now, can you imagine the strain on the water system and the sewer system with that number of new houses? Same as in London. This is why a lot of building sites and plans were actually turned down, because the National Grid actually told them that they would not be able to provide the infrastructure to run them. So they can't build them. Simple as. I saw it in Newquay myself over the years, down in Cornwall, living down there. The system, the sewer system, was overrun every year. We used to get shit coming up through the drains and all sorts, because it couldn't handle the influx of people. All the houses that used to have families in throughout the summer now rent out rooms. Some have been converted to hotels. So you've got 5-6 times the amount of people living in one building, running through the same sewer system, and it couldn't handle it. But in fairness, Cornwall Council did sort some of it out and built a new sewerage plant, which still pumps shit straight into Newquay Bay. By the way, if you swim down in Newquay, you do so at your own fucking risk, because that beautiful headland you can see out in the distance there, that's where the sewerage outfall is. That's Rachel Reeves, Lodger. Yeah, thank you, Lady Enfield. The Deputy PM is Ginger Rayner, the Ginger Chav.
The one with all the new outfits.
Yeah. But I mean, most of the new housing they're building, it's not for us. It's for these influx of doctors and engineers that are managing to paddle across the channel. But yeah, this lot are no better than Roland and the gang. As I said, they're going to be a lot worse. I know some of the outfits she wears, Lady Anfield, are absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, Lost Souls is back. But yeah, the people he's... I mean, I watched a bit yesterday and a couple of interviews today. And the people that they've got in the party, they're even worse than the Tories. They don't even understand the questions they're being asked, let alone able to answer them. And they're just giving statements out again. Yeah, don't forget, Lady Anfield, this is the one that claimed on expenses, what was it, 350 quid for a set of earpods that apparently she needed for work within the party. You know, the only reason that they've been getting away with robbing the system is because they haven't been running the system, so nobody's picking up on them. But it's a shame there was no PM's question times today because he's away. I'd love to have seen what was going on there. David Lammy, yeah, Jason. And the other one, what was his? He's the Secretary for Business or something or other. What a fucking waste of time that prick is. I got a feeling that Starmer's fucking porking old Rayner. I really do. You know, maybe she's a hot towel. Oh, dear. Yes, another Monica Lewinsky, isn't it? There again, don't forget, old Chubby Fingers is a lefty, isn't he? You know, he's all for the WEF and shit like that. How the fucking hell she even got in the front bench, believes me. I just don't understand putting somebody in there. What is she? The Undersecretary, Home Secretary or something. I mean, a silly bitch can't even string a sentence together. She can't count. You know, oh, yeah, Home Secretary, that was it, isn't it? I said, oh, we only had 10,000 people come in yesterday. Oh, fuck. Mother of the house. Yeah, she's a mother, all right. And look at the state of her son. How many times has he been in, Nick? Yeah, she can't even dress herself. I remember that. I mean, she just literally, she cannot put two words together that belong together. She really can't. And I mean, they keep calling white people racist. Now, you've only got to listen to her. And she is a reverse racist. She absolutely 100% is. You know, she uses the race card every time she opens her fucking trap. It's got to be a bit racist. All the time with her. Doesn't matter what you're talking about, what you're saying, what your answer is to any question, it's racist. And that is the way she looks at it. I mean, I wouldn't even have her in the party, let alone fucking on the front bench. Jesus. And then he's standing up there saying, we've got the most diverse government there's ever been. Sorry, can't type or spell, but I can do a voice activation on
There was an
YouTube.
awful lot of conservative gay men, so and different races in there. So, how is Labour more diverse?
Because they got more than the minority people in the party. Oh. Yeah, no worries, Lady Anfield. Thanks for joining in, my dear. Ooh. Who else? When anybody else joined in? Yeah. Because they're red, not blue. Oh, pardon me. But yeah, we ain't going to see nothing new from them. Nothing new whatsoever.
I got me out in there.
You know, he might carry through with some of his promises, but unlike Roland did, but there again, his promises aren't going to be any good for us.
I was going to say, they're all going to be the ones we don't want him to do.
Yeah.
Hopefully Europe will tell him to fuck off. They don't want us back.
Well, the way it's going, Europe is going to fall apart before long anyway. You know, you only got to look at the French.
Yeah, but they said that to Scotland, didn't they?
What?
Because what's her face?
Oh, yeah, they didn't want the Scottish in there because they're part of the UK. They can't go in on their own without getting independence.
Yeah.
And they won't get independence.
No.
That's why they didn't want them.
Yeah.
Are you farting, Roger? I have been. But my chair makes funny noises as well. So, oh, bloody knackered. Gosh, we've only been going an hour. Just trying to see what else has been said in the chat.
Nothing. Nobody loves you.
Nobody loves me. But yeah, the daily videos might be a bit sparse on the ground for a little bit. Well, I've got a lot going on. I've got hospital appointments coming up and stuff like that again. I've still got a lot of stuff to do around the house. But it's a job to find the energy to get it done. This is the biggest issue.
Doesn't help that we're both as bad as one another.
But has anybody else got anything they want to bring up? Let me know in the chat. I mean, you know, I've got some notes here. These are just things that I've scribbled down. Oh, what else we got?
How many ants did you lose on holiday?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Holly. This, as Mrs. W just said, the hats. Now, some of you have seen me wearing a camouflage cap with some badges on. Well, first day there on holiday, went out on Maryport Pier chatting to a lad that's fishing. Whoosh, the wind has took it. The fucking thing's off into the harbour. No chance of getting that back. So couple of days later, we're in one of the local shops. They had some cheap camouflage caps in there. So I bought another one.
Big up JB's.
Big up JB's, or heebie-jeebies as I call them, one of these tat shops in the town. And went down Maryport Pier. First fishing expedition of the weekend. The wind took that one straight off out into the estuary. So I bought another one, or rather Mrs. W bought me another one. That one isn't getting warm for fishing. It isn't going anywhere near the fucking beach, any piers, any promenades. And it survived. So yeah, two hats gone with the wind, as they say. Couldn't believe it.
Not good.
Don't eat Stargo town pizzas. That's right, Gary. No worries, mate. But it is, I think, don't even wear it out there. I won't, Holly. I'll tell you what, I've got.
Pick your feet up.
Can't, my legs still ache. That's the new one. Now, I've worn this one fishing. I've had this one over 40 bloody years. My old work hat.
I'm going to put some elastic on it.
Over 40 years, and that thing has never blown off my head, no matter how strong the wind has got. I mean, you can see the bloody state of the thing. But I've actually got a photograph somewhere of me on a cherry picker, cutting a hedge, a big 30-foot hedge, with that on. That's how old that one is. You worried, Gary? Is it the pizza that made you sick? Yeah.
So yeah, Gary has eaten a Chicago town pizza, and it's made him very ill.
Well, so there's a lot of the sandwiches from certain shops, haven't they?
Yeah, but Chicago town pizzas haven't got lettuce in them.
No. But this is the thing, you don't know what's in food nowadays. You really don't. I mean, you know, yeah, we ate that sole that I caught on Sunday. But, you know, who's to say that wasn't full of something out of the estuary there? You know? No matter what you eat, it's a risk. Whether you catch it, dig it up, shoot it, whatever. It's always a risk.
There are an awful lot of people that say they won't trust anything in our waters.
Well, they're right to be that way as well. I mean, admittedly, up there, the population is very sparse where we are. But you still don't know that there's streams that run into the beach there. You know, considering what they put in the atmosphere and shit like that. You know, who's to say the rainwater isn't contaminated that runs in down the back? I mean, one of the people that moved into the cottage next door to us there for the weekend, they had 2 dogs there. The first day out on the beach, they were rolling in a dead seal. Yeah, exactly, Holly. You know, you don't know what's going in a lot of this food now. I mean, everybody's complaining about the insects and insect flour. Well, cricket flour has been used as an ingredient in pre-cooked food and packet food for a long, long time. Even before all this shit was brought up. A lot of companies have used cricket flour for years.
But if you don't know what you're eating, because they put it under, they put things under different abbreviations. like the E numbers are there to say.
Well, that's all cricket flour is. It's a
Well,
number.
what do you think cochineal is?
Yeah.
Don't eat anything red because it's got powdered beetle in
Beetles.
it.
Yeah. That's what I said. They've been putting it in our food for years.
But you can't see it's there because it's E 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, exactly, Holly. Exactly. They're destroying everything.
Only the strong will survive.
The thing is, we won't have nothing to survive on because everything will be contaminated. What was that cartoon film where everybody lived in space and the robots?
Wally.
Wally, that's it. Wally. Finds the little plant. Yeah, Beetlejuice 3 times. But yeah, people say, oh, you got organic food. You've grown it yourself. What's in the soil? If you got contaminated soil, straight away, that's going to contaminate your food. Your water's contaminated that you water your plants with, that you water your food with.
Only the strong will survive.
You get the vegans, well, we will survive because we will farm economically. We will farm organically. But you want to kill everything that produces the manure to help your stuff grow. So, yeah, everything today. It's yeah, you can't trust them. Pardon me. Even the air we breathe is contaminated. Think about it.
Only if you look up.
It's been contaminated with jet fuel contaminants for donkey's years. Why do you think everybody's all of a sudden got breathing issues? Don't get me started by all these cancers that all of a sudden started to appear. It's only since 2020, 2021, isn't it? Can't say any more than that because YouTube will be coming and getting their knickers in a twist.
Yeah, but the reason it's all coming about now is because about 10 years ago they started fucking about with our tobacco and cigarettes. And that's what's caused us to now have cancer. And they put all the...
No, that's what they're saying. They're saying people are catching cancer. You don't catch cancer. By the way.
Didn't say they caught cancer.
No, but they're saying that's what's happening.
You can't hear him, but he's chuntering in the kitchen.
They were saying that not a lot of people are catching cancer. Well, as we know, and anybody that knows anything about medical, even basics, you don't catch cancer. Most people have got cancerous genes and cells in their body. It's certain things that trigger it. You don't actually catch it, you develop it. And it's been proved that it's not just smoking. In fact, smoking only causes one type of cancer to grow.
How many of these people that have got cancer now used to smoke and then vaped?
Yeah. And people like my own father, who died of cancer, never smoked a fag in his life. Yeah. Yes, we do, Gary. That's what I'm saying. The cancer cells live in people's bodies. Most of the time, they're dormant. This is what I believe. From what I've read, Don't take it as Jen. Look it up for yourself, as I always say. But certain things trigger it within the body. Can be anything. Could be a toxin, could be a food, it could be cigarettes. I mean, I'm absolutely convinced what triggered my father's was sheep dip. Not that he ever drunk any of it, but he used it every year on the farm with the sheep. I never came into contact with it. I never used to do the dipping. But it could be anything that triggers it. Yeah, them Asian hornet stitch, you're supposed to report them if you see them. Report them to the Environment Agency. They're quite easy to spot. Not just because of their size, but the colour of them as well. But as they say, dragonflies kill them. But there again, who keeps dragonflies, you know? Yeah, they are really big, Stitch, really big.
But you need to report it, Stitch, if it was, because they try and track it down so they can kill it.
Yeah, they don't fly very far from the nests. So if you've got them in your area, they can generally track them because they're that big enough to see where they can find the nest and destroy them. I don't know.
Because they will kill all our bubbles.
Environment Agency, Stitch. They should be able to help you.
1 second.
Mrs. W will look it up, who to report them. Just get a bigger fly swatter. They're that big, Gary, you could shoot them. But they're, going back to the cancer thing, you think the chemicals that go into things nowadays, sprays, even household sprays, cleaning products, laundry products, any of those could trigger cancer in different people. Yeah, the stripes aren't quite as vivid, Stitch. They are more brown. Yeah, shower gel, Holly, exactly. Sun cream, yeah. And isn't it funny that people weren't getting skin cancer many years ago? That's only really sort of taken off and been noticed now since, people have been using sunblock, basically. Yep, toothpaste with the chemicals, even the water, the stuff they're putting in the water, the aluminium, the fluoride. Yeah. It does, everything triggers somebody, Holly. Everybody's got their ideas on what causes it. Obviously, there's a lot of research, or they tell us there's a lot of research goes into it. But there's a lot of money to be made in treatment for it. That's all I'll say on that point. And the fact that they can't say that they've got a cure for it. Even Big Pharma aren't allowed to say that because it's against the Cancer Act 1939. You cannot advertise the fact that you've got a cure for it. That is legal fact, YouTube. So before you try and censor that, get your fact checkers on the case and check it out. That is fact. No, they're not trying to cure it, Holly. Far from it. There's too much money involved in it. Evening, Stuart. Yeah, he's covering quite a few of those now, and he's. I've watched one or two. Yeah, Dodger. It's the government pay for a lot of it. The NHS pay for a lot of it, but there are people that do pay for their own treatment. I know one person that has got lung cancer. She was cured of it, but it's left her lungs in such a state that she needs oxygen. She always has to have a bottle of oxygen handy. And the NHS don't pay for it. She has to pay for that herself at 50 quid a pop. Well, that's what it was 2 years ago. Whether it still is, that I don't know. They reckon there is cures in the jungle and places like that, Karen. Certain plants. Whether they are or not, obviously, I don't know. I've never used anything like that. But there are cases where there are tribes in the jungle and other places around the world that do eat certain food types, do certain things. And none of them have ever caught cancer or been shown to have had cancer. Makes you think, doesn't it? But as we've always said, and people have been saying for years now, a patient cured is a customer lost. But it just feels funny and very, very strange that all of a sudden they're coming up with all these drugs as a cure for everything. And a lot of them seem based on one thing. I won't say any more than that. Because we know how YouTube like to get their panties in a wad over medical stuff. So I try not to give them that little bit of enjoyment. And that's another thing that's going to get worse under Labour. Censorship. Because don't forget, they're the ones that really, really push and are now even more so for facial recognition. There will be a great push on the credit scoring system. And eventually they will make it illegal to disagree with them. Don't believe me? If we're still here in 2 years' time, come back and tell me I'm wrong. I do like making these predictions, and some of the ones I've made over the last 2 years, as people know, have absolutely worked as I said they would. And yes, Holly, I'm still a bit on this thing. I'm on the no nicotine ones now, but I didn't take it on holiday. I don't think you did either, did you?
No.
Neither of us took them on holiday. Email to... Oh. Is that for Stitch, is it?
Yes.
There you go, Stitch. There's
He's
your...
already said thank you.
Your contact details for that. And if anybody sees any Asian hornets, that's your contact. They will come and try and get rid of them. Yeah, it is, Karen. It is, absolutely. I mean, it's... It was a work of fiction. But there again, so was Star Trek. Now look at what we took from that. Communicators. You ever seen anything as close as that to a communicator from the Star Trek series, the original one? Talking computers. Computers that can control machines. That was all science fiction, wasn't it? Why shouldn't 1984 be the same? Yeah, it will be, Missy. We will be walking around discussing things hidden away because there will be people that hear. There will be people that grass you up. We've already seen that. During lockdowns, they wanted people to grass their neighbours up, grass their family up.
That's what YouTube is at the moment because they're letting us get away with it.
Everything we say and do on social media, believe me, they are taking notice of it. And the ones that are more outspoken about it, like myself, we're going to be the first ones they come for. Look at how hate speech works with the police. You've only got to accuse someone of hate speech. You've only got to accuse someone of racism. You get the fucking boys in blue, the corrupt arseholes kicking your door in. Yes, Stuart, they did grass them up. Absolutely. Good evening, Tony. And it destroyed a lot of people. It destroyed a lot of families. It destroyed a lot of communities.
We were very lucky. Everyone in our family, well, my kids and associated, agreed with us.
Yeah. The people that we do know that did take it, took it for certain reasons. Not just because they, some of them needed to work. Some of them needed to keep their jobs. And the only way that they could keep their jobs because they were terrified of losing them was taking it. But they're the ones that are regretting it now.
Lisa?
Yeah, Terminator. Exactly, Karen. That's on the cards. You've only got to think about the robots, the AI that not just the Western world has got. Don't forget Russia has built military robots. They've even got android robots. They've even got autonomous robots that the military have been working on for years. And we still don't know what all this shit is they've been putting in orbit around the planet. Simply because the average man can't see what's up there. The only one that we're actually told about is old Elon with his Skynet, as I like to call it. He's still launching shit on a weekly basis almost up there now.
But they've stopped telling us. It stopped being news.
Yeah, because it's been done that regular that they're not putting out. That more or less every week or every other week, he's chucking 50 more satellites up there. Even YouTube has stopped putting it out. People have stopped putting videos out of the launches because it's a common thing now. The only new one is Starship. But that's not as regular because they keep blowing up and burning up, but they are getting there. You've got other nations now going to the moon, putting shit on the moon. Basically, that if they want to build something there, there's enough scrap metal lying around up there now to actually build something with.
Corner shop,
Chinese takeaway, Indian takeaway. They've all got something up there. The only ones that are pissed off about it is Korea because they ain't got nothing up there yet.
Well, they're looking at getting an off license.
And that's the problem, Stuart. This is this hot type of society that they've created today. People are just too willing to grass anybody up for anything. And unfortunately, most of them that do don't get anything out of it. Years ago, if you were a police grass, you used to get paid a few quid for it. But no. They complain about society. The government complain about it. The police complain about what's happening in society. But they're the ones that have created the society. So they're complaining about their own creations. You just had a lovely Chinese chow mein. Yeah, I dare say that one wasn't made on the moon, Karen. But you know, it's like I say, like everybody's on tenterhooks at the moment about war. There's so many countries at war, and as most people know, there is so many countries now that are nuclear capable. They've got nuclear arms. They've got nuclear weapons, and there's that many disturbed people in positions of power around the world that at some point some idiot will press the button.
Me.
Yeah, Missy, and that's when society totally breaks down. When people start fighting over food and water and basics, that is when society will go to shit. Because you'll have to do it to survive. And people will turn to that if they do what they're trying to do is stop benefits. So like I said, you will eat what they tell you to eat. You will drink what they tell you to drink. If you've been bad, you've been naughty, you won't get any.
I'm filling the trolley and walking out.
You won't be able to go and use a trolley. It will be issued. That's how bad it could get. Only a scenario that I've often thought about. And then you'll be surprised what you'll eat. Believe me. You can't get wine on storming Parliament. To be honest, I think that's the only way this country is going to go, Gary. You know, you say that as a joke, but it worked in the past, didn't it? Yeah, Karen. I mean, I said that many a time. Somebody just press the button. Let's get it over and fucking done with. Those of us that are in a position or know how to survive will survive. And we'll start again. We'll rebuild. There will be survivors. Most of them will be Swedish because they're the only ones that have got shelters for the whole population. But there will be other people survive. Yeah, exactly, Missy. There's a lot of people wish they could revive him. But the thing is, it's not just our lot. There's a lot of countries down the world whose governments are a lot worse than ours, and they're causing a lot of problems more than ours do. It's not just our lot. The problems that have been caused seem to be global. But unless you deal with it on a global level, you know, you got to remember we're just a pissy little island in the middle of the Atlantic, basically. Well, not the middle of the Atlantic, but in the Atlantic. Yeah, I know, Karen. I know. I've run through that scenario in my head many times. Many times. Not sure we haven't seen anything yet. I've said that as well for some time now. And it's only those that have been getting ready for it and have been listening and can see it coming themselves. They're the ones that will last. They're the ones that will survive. I don't just mean preppers. I mean, there's a lot of other things you can do and put in place and be ready for it. But the biggest thing is having the right mindset to deal with it. This is where the problem's going to become with people. Because then people will turn on each other for having the slightest little thing. Well, the thing is, Gary, you need a hell of a lot of land to grow stuff to be self-sustainable. And everybody would see that you're doing it. and you'd have to defend that. And that's where the problems will arise. Good evening, Jenny. Yeah, I know you're not feeling very well, darling. You did tell me. I hope you're feeling a little bit better, but welcome in. But yep, things are going to get a lot worse. A lot worse. And believe it or not, I don't think it'll matter whether you've got money or not. Because what you've got to think about is it's the normal people that provide the food, grow the food, build things. Now, if we're not doing any of that, those that have got money are going to be in the same boat. Don't matter how much money you've got. If the food ain't there, you can't buy it. If the housing ain't there, you won't be able to live in anything. Don't matter how much money you've got.
Money becomes useless because it's okay saying I'll buy the stuff off you, but then what's that person going to do with those bits of paper when they've got it? Because they can't pass it on.
No, they can eat it.
They can't. They can eat money.
Yes, Karen. Bring on the wasteland. I shall earn my living in Thunderdome. But yeah, that is another scenario. If think about it, nuclear power, the Terminator scenario, that needs power to happen. We haven't got personal nuclear power supplies. That is a long way off. I mean, if you look at the size of the nuclear power plant that's needed to run a nuclear submarine, they're not small. Yes, money is faith-based, Holly. Absolutely. It's based on the fact that someone owes you something and they can give you an IOU on a bit of paper that's called money. And if that bit of paper is worthless, so is the promise to pay. Oh, they'll come for any bit of accommodation they can get, Stuart. Every little thing. Because they're not going to be able to build the amount of housing they say they are. And if they do, it's not for us. They've let too many people come into this country now, and this country can't support it. And the thing is, it's the indigenous people that are suffering because of it. When somebody illegal arrives in the country and they get treated better than the indigenous people, they get looked after better, they get better hospital treatment, they get better food, they get better accommodation, and the indigenous people let it happen. Look at what it did to the Native Americans. Look what it did to the Native Australians when that sort of thing happened. Where are those two societies now?
Playing with the didgeridoo.
As I said, all these things have happened before, and nobody has learnt a fucking thing from them. Well, the Aborigines have, because they just fucked off into the outback where nobody else can survive, where they can. But most of them were corrupted, turned into alcoholics. Their women were raped. They had what they called the lost generation. And the same with Native Americans. You got all these people in the nation over there. We're American. Not unless your descendants are Native Americans. No, you're not. Most of you are European descent. Yeah, it all happened little bit at a time, Stuart. Do you remember I always said this? It's the little bits that they put in all over the time. And it's only now that people are starting to connect the dots and see the total picture. But it's been accelerated in the last few years. They're joining up the dots. We're looking at the dots. Yeah, exactly, Holly. And the thing is, I sadly believe that it has gone too late. It's gone too far to stop it. Now, there's too much in place. And, like they did in the past, storming Parliament, shit like that. That is the only way that this is ever going to stop now. And I don't mean just in this country. I mean in other countries as well. You got to remember there are a lot of countries out there that are a lot worse off than us at the moment and have been for some years now. Simply because their governments over the years have done and put things in place exactly what they're doing here now.
But I'm sorry, Dove, we can't all be pessimists because if it's too late to do anything, we're all fucked. We might as well go and commit suicide. No, we may as well go and commit suicide. And I'm not doing that. I don't believe with that.
And if you carry on saying things like that, you'll get me fucking channel pulled down. So don't talk about that, please. Yes, Holly, exactly. COVID was the breaking point, and the people laid down and rolled on their backs for their stomachs to be tickled by the government and be petted. Exactly. That was our last chance to fight back. And that's why I believe they did it. They wanted to see how the people would react. Most people bowed to them. Most people did what they were told. And now we're living with the result of that. The sheep lost it for us. Exactly. And if you remember, there was a lot of us saying at the time, that's what was happening. It was all a big experiment to see what the reactions were. And unfortunately, the population gave them the reaction they wanted to see. And they've used that against us ever since. Yes, there are a lot of people that have wised up. They have tried to start up more fear campaigns over certain things, but there's less and less people buying it now. There are ones that are, but those that aren't buying it, it's too late anyway. They've gone too far. You've only got to look at the way the police have acted, the way the government have acted, the way they've treated people. They know people will be controlled. And there is still the element that want to be controlled. And unfortunately, they're a bigger element than those that don't. Yeah, see, Karen, without being rude, me and you are of an age that we've seen this coming for many, many years. I've seen this shit coming since the Cold War, to be honest. Oh, pardon me. But yeah, this has been coming for a long time. The warning signs were there. Some of us used to shout about it, but we weren't being listened to. Because not enough people shouted together. Back during the lockdown protests, if the whole country had stood up and shouted against it, things might have been different, but they didn't. Every time the police backed down, they went in, the people backed down from the police. They run away from them. They didn't stand up to them. And they still wouldn't now, I don't think. And this is where the problem starts. In any argument, you are never going to win any argument unless you stand up for yourself. Yes, sure. I've got like that a couple of times. You know, when I've seen what's been going on, it does at times make you ashamed of your country. Or not so much of your country, but as of your fellow countrymen, or who you thought was your fellow countrymen. They're the ones that make me feel ashamed. You know, these ones that stand there open arms as people are invading the beaches and coming off the bloody boats. You know, they shouldn't even be calling themselves British or English, because they're not. Yeah, exactly, Stuart. You know yourself, you're a vet. You know yourself what it takes to defend our country, and that's gone. We have no defence in this country, either civilian or military based anymore. You know, they sold our military down the drain, turned them woke. It's fucking ridiculous. It really is. I mean, you know, I say I don't have any issues with myself or anything like that, but yeah, I've got to have some. You know, looking at what I report on, the videos I put out, of course, talking about that sort of thing and looking into it, it does affect you, and that's why I have some downtime now, because it did used to get to me. As one or two of you know that have been with me for a long time, things came to a head a year or two ago where I got into a totally dark place, and I just had to disappear for a short time, a couple of months. But I just needed to get a few things straight in my head and sort my own head out. And it's very downheartening when you know you're right, you're putting out what's right, and people just don't listen. They argue back about it. And I've had quite a few people now that have come back to me over the last 3 years and said, you know what, we wish you would have listened to what you and others were saying 2-3 years ago. I said, well, it's too fucking late now. Yeah, exactly, Stuart. Exactly, mate. I will fight for the defence of my family, my friends, my land. That's it. And I will fight for them because I want to, not because somebody has told me to, not because I've been ordered to. Well, I don't take orders at the best of times anyway. Mrs. W will tell you that. But yeah, it's that's what I just said, darling.
What?
Don't matter. Yeah, you've got to have something worth fighting for. And the jokers that run this country, they're just not worth fighting for. Far from it. Right, I'm all right at the moment, people, but I don't think I'm going to make 10 o'clock tonight. I'm still recovering from last week and the holiday. It's always the same. It's the most... Bless you. It's the most energetic time of the year for me, and I do more than I should always do. But... And the other thing is I have to be a bit careful now. You can see that bruise on there, and that was just a little knock on my hand. When was that? Monday. I noticed that. Thank you, Karen. You're more than welcome, darling. You're more than welcome. It's we're both straight talking. I don't, or I try not to talk about something I don't know about or I haven't researched. On occasion, Mrs. W has looked into something where I hasn't, and she's found something different to me. And I will always correct myself if I'm proved wrong.
But you're not allowed to have a difference of opinion to Roger because he is right.
Oh, I'm always right, unless I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, first rule applies. I'm never wrong. I'm always right. Yeah, I mean, I don't go out a lot, Stuart. I'll be totally honest. It's literally because I can't get about. There's a lot I'd like to get out there and do. I mean, I'd love to go into the city and have a look what's going on down there, but I just don't have the energy to do it. It's not safe for me to do it, which would mean someone has to come with me. You know, and Heather's not in the physical condition where she can walk around the city.
Struggle to walk around fucking Tesco's.
I mean, I struggle to get up to town when I've got to go up there. Usually, when we're on holiday with the fresh air and the sea air, I normally breathe a lot better. I normally get around a lot better. But this year, it hasn't. It's nothing changed when I got up there. I was still struggling. And especially with the breathing, which is something I am going to have a word with my doctor about, see if I can make an appointment, because there is something else going on there and I want to know what it is. Thank you, Karen.
If you want him, you can have him.
Yeah, I mean, if you can imagine, Jen, I've been like that for, well, since the strokes, really. I mean, if you watch some of the videos of me from just back before lockdown when I was doing mountain biking and stuff like that, you know, I was a very physical outdoor person. You know, I used to walk everywhere. I used to enjoy walking. And I can't do any of that now. You know, even my poor little cat, I mean, she's not very with it at the moment. I think it was separation anxiety and stress. Apparently, she hardly ate while we were away and come home, and she's lost so much weight. And yeah, you're eating better now, but yeah. But she is old, and I don't think she's got a lot left in her. She's very, very clingy. Yes, sure. I've never been racist. I've had friends, colleagues, work colleagues, even a partner in the past that's been a different nationality to myself. And I've never had a problem with anybody. But there again, none of them that know me and have been friends of mine have tried to ram it down my throat. You know, that's just what they've done again. It's another thing they've done to this country. You know, we were diverse. We always have been. We've always welcomed strangers into this country. And I just believe that they've took advantage of that fact and done what they've done to us by allowing this to happen. Again, to me, this is one thing that's destroyed the NHS and a lot of other entities and businesses. They've pushed the diversity shit, not the natural selection. Ollie's watching the football 1-1 half time. Oh, I can't stand the bloody game, Ollie, as you know. I won't even have it on. Not interested in it. Never have been.
But they've obviously got it on next door because I can hear them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at the ones down the bottom of the garden that year with the World Cup. They got they got a big shed. People down at the bottom of the garden there. Yes, they got people at the bottom of the garden. And they had a lot of parties over the football. They'd probably have a group of lads around there. You could hear them all shouting and jeering. Every time England scored a goal, they were there. And then England got knocked out. And you could hear them all moaning. And I was running round the garden with an air horn giving it shit. Yeah, they're out. Great. Fucking peace from now on. It didn't go round too well.
But we had weeks of them and their vuvuzela.
My ex was Welsh. In fact, I was married to a German citizen of British heritage. Never divorced. Yeah, there's a lot of countries that are like that, Gary. And a lot of them are, shall I say, a different shade to us. They've never heard of the word racist. They don't know what it means. But once they know what it means, they tend to use it. I couldn't tell you, Jen. I know a lot of the managers in this country, apparently, when you hear them talk on the news or whatever, they don't sound very English. I'm not married at the moment, Stuart, and I've got my divorce certificate to prove it.
I've got one of them.
And so's Heather. Yeah, I mean, you do need a little bit of diversity to make anywhere work. But as I say, when you get overloaded with it, it's ridiculous.
If we're all going to live together as one, in harmony, however you want to put it, that's fine. But it's when you've got you're not treating me how I want to be treated, and that's racist crap going on all over the place. When it's actually, you're just a fucking tosser, and it's nothing to do with the colour of your skin or anything else. You're just an idiot.
If you don't like a country you've moved to, fuck off out of it. Go find another one, isn't it?
No, people call racist when it's nothing to do with race. It's to do with the fact that
because they've got no other argument.
They're a twat.
Yeah, they've got no other argument. Technically, I'm divorced in my mind. You don't need to find her to get divorced, Stuart. As long as you file the papers and wait the appropriate amount of time, if they don't respond or they can't find them, you will be awarded that. That's what the ex-wife did to me because I didn't contest it. I didn't bother turning up for anything. I didn't answer any of the paperwork. All I got then was the letter through saying it was all official, the degree, nice side, whatever it is.
I think it was 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
It may have changed, but...
Yes, exactly, Holly. Exactly. It's if they've got no argument, then they'll bring that up because that gives them an argument. Yeah, your skin color doesn't denote your behaviour, Missy. We're all bleed, we're all red inside, we're all pink inside. We've all got the same bits inside of us. Don't matter what colour the exterior is. You know, you buy a red car, you buy a white car, you buy a green car. They're all made up of exactly the same parts. They all work exactly the same. It's just the paint that's different.
What's the difference between a white egg and a brown egg?
Well,
The middles are all
unless
the
you're the
same.
red car and the blue car having a race.
I said egg, not car. I'm not a bleeding Mars bar or a marathon.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Jen. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Stu. You don't have to chase them. You just file for it. The court will eventually award it to you. I mean, she accused me of cheating, which I didn't. But I didn't contest it because I just wanted it over and done with. I just let her apply for what she wanted. End of. Never signed anything. In fact, I think it's upstairs. And so I did have. Hello, what's that book there? I did have. That's my passport. I must find all my paperwork actually and put it all in one place. Oh no, that's just my birth certificate. My original birth certificate. Not a copy. I have got a copy, but
I've got an original and a copy upstairs, along with my.
yeah, I've got an original and a copy.
And I know where they all are.
Good evening, Brian. Yeah, Brian. That was the NATO meeting, isn't it? They're still going to throw millions and millions of pounds to that idiot Zelensky. Yeah, it's on parchment, Holly. But again, it's like a version of Vietnam, and it's one of them wars that's going to keep soaking up money until somebody decides to turn around and walk away. And I surely believe the only reason we're giving that amount of money is because they want to match the Americans so they don't lose face with them. But they're just funding an endless war.
We have to do it because we're British.
It's a money pit, basically. And the thing is, they've already given them the weapons, so why do they need money? You know, Zelensky's already bought his condos and mansions in America with some of it, hasn't he? So you know where he'll be going when it all goes wrong. Yeah, on a cave painting, Holly. Roger was here. But yeah, that's just something that is soaking up millions of pounds that could be spent in this country to sort some of our issues out. We're doing all sorts, and within 100 days, 100-year deal. Yeah. I haven't seen anything today on it, Brian. I know there was a big NATO powwow going on. That's why old Stampy's feet's fucked off over there, isn't it? We've got no equipment left to give them, Stuart. We've given them everything. And we haven't got the money to produce any new stuff to replace it with. That's why we're defenseless. You know, they said they're going to give more money to produce weapons for this country and for our defence, but it's not going to happen for another year. By then, it could be all over and done with. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, I thought it was the NATO one. I knew that was going on. Oh, it's only an hour or so they agreed to all this. Yeah, I wouldn't have seen it then. I shall probably have to look into that for if I do a video tomorrow. At the moment, as far as I know, you're still intending to do a live on Friday, are you?
If I can be asked.
Yeah, if she can be asked. Oh, Labour have bent us over royally anyway, Gary. We knew that was going to happen. In fact, they bent us over well further than the Tories ever did. But again, we knew that was going to happen. And this is why we've been putting out so much now, you know. Yeah, Labour are going to win, but you can change that. And not for the Tories either, but there just wasn't enough people listened. And I believe that's why Sunak called the election as quick as he did. He knew they were going to lose, but he lost a lot more than he ever thought they were going to, I believe. Big time. And I think that was only because Farage popped up. You know, and as I said earlier, look at what they tried to do to him, discredit him, infiltrate his organisation. Yeah. This is the way politics works, and this is why it needs to be reformed. Oh, yeah, he knew it's coming. He knew it was coming, Stuart. Absolutely. And I think this is why he said he's going to step down as leader of the Tory party. Because I personally don't think he wants to be involved in any of it. The bloke's a fucking coward. He's an absolute coward. And that little hiccup with Chucky Dole taking over for 40 days, whatever, I don't think that really had anything to do with it. You know, that started the crash of the economy and shit. But if they'd have worked it right, that could have been recovered. You know, it's always the elites that start the war, but they won't fight in them. What was the Aussie one? War pigs. Generals gathered in their masses. Yeah. And the sad thing is, we've seen it all before. We've seen it in history. And again, nobody learned a fucking thing from it. Pardon me. Are you eating?
No.
Duh. Right. Yeah. Okay.
What?
What you eating?
Quavers.
Quavers.
What?
Oh dear.
Want some?
Yeah.
No. Charge.
Jousting leaders instead of their madness. Yeah. Put all the leaders in an arena and let them fight it out amongst themselves. Bit of entertainment for the people. But I can see us ending up with the way Labour wants to run things as something like the Hunger Games, to be honest. And if it went down that route, I'd like to see the end result the same as in the Hunger Games, because that could happen. They could push us that far. But again, it's if the people will stand up. And as we've seen, there's an awful lot that won't. Oh, pardon me. Right, guys, I am going to call it. I am suffering a bit here, actually. My eyes are actually starting to water for some reason again. You just sure just want to wear. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a summer. Putin could do his judo. Yeah, apparently he does do martial arts, doesn't he, Brian?
I wore my shorts while we were on holiday and got soaked to the skin because it pissed down.
Yes, Stitch. Thank you, darling. Yeah, I am. I mean, I'm still trying to catch up with sleep and shit since the holiday, since we got back on Monday. For some, it just takes me long to recover now from everything I do, including personal things. No, we won't go down that route. We haven't dived down that level this week, so we'll stay away from that. But yeah, I am going to call it, guys. I am feeling very, very tired. As I say, I'm normally in bed by 9, half 9 most nights anyway. But yeah, but I can't wear shorts, Stuart. If I get, well, we ain't no sun anyway, but a little bit of sun on my legs and they just blister. Yeah, good night, Brian. Cheers for dropping in, mate. Yeah, sorry about cutting it short early, guys. I did say earlier on that I probably won't last till 10, but I'd envisage lasting a bit longer than this. And as you can hear, my voice is going again as well. But I will be there Friday if Mrs. W does do a live. Friday at your 7 o'clock. Yeah. But thank you to everybody that joined in tonight, that came in to listen to this daft old git here rattling on about things. Sometimes I make sense, sometimes I don't make sense to myself, but that's the way life goes, I suppose. And until Friday night, there might be a video tomorrow or Friday. I don't know yet. It depends how I feel. But as always, until the next time I see you all, or talk to you all, or listen to you all, stay safe, stay strong, and don't fear what's coming. Just be ready for it. The only thing to fear is fear itself. Good night, my lovelies.